This is what Prophet says, alayhi salatu wassalam, not to make innovations. They're inventing new rules in Islam, new mazhabs, new practices, new groups, new ways of communication, new cultures, new music, new everything. But first, it's very, this is a very, at the risk of sounding like we're not hating the West. There's so many things in the West that we can use. But this is a very Western tactic. It's very British. It's to divide and to conquer. Divide, make division, and to conquer, to take over. The Ottomans is the complete opposite. They unite and they conquer. You understand? They never divide. They unite. So, when they cut us off from knowledge, from history, so we don't know how we're going to interact now. We think now all these questions about Islam, about women, about technology, about the situation we're living in is unprecedented. Subhanallah. Never. It's come in a situation like this. But there were people that for 1400 years they have said these are the things that's going to happen. Watch out for them. This is the guidelines that you're supposed to take. This is beyond Zahiri knowledge, which in those days, for you to become a Zahiri scholar, you have to have tariqat anyway. It is impossible. They're not going to give you that kind of education if you are not good morally, if you don't have a sheikh. So now, if we don't understand, we forget about our past. If we don't know who our father is, we don't know who our father is. What kind of a person are you going to be now? So if we're cut off from connection to history, and we have a very good history, we have the best history, we're cut off, then everything is pieces. That time, you can have 2 billion pieces. That time you can have 7 billion Muslims pieces. Islam came, there's a handful, but they were connected. Understand? There's an alif there. They are connected. Meaning, when they are connected, there is always a what? A head. New thing, no head. It's an old thing. When the war, especially between Hazrati Ali and Hazrati Muawiyah, radiallahu anhu, there's a group who says, we don't want any head. We want to be independent. We want to be, to put it in another way, to be democratic. Everyone report only to Allah. Everyone is equal. They say shahadat. They pray 5 times. They fast. They go to Hajj. They make zakat. They make everything. Hazrat Ali stopped the war with Hazrat Muawiyah. Says, wait a minute. Those ones are saying that. They're not accepting Khilafat. They're not accepting leadership. They're saying everyone, just Quran and Allah. Turn to them. Finish them off. They were Muslims. Now, new systems that we have now. New ways. And when everything is so new and people are given the arrogance to think they're discovering something new. There's never been discovered for 1400 years. New shariat, new fatwas, new ijtihad, never before. We have 1400 years, very comprehensive. Imam al-Azam has looked to questions that we cannot even think of until Judgment Day to answer into every situation. We just have to touch that live wire to get the electricity. Now everyone is trying to lay their own cable lines to touch the electricity. It's empty, it's nothing. There's no power there, there's nothing. What comes out is just clash. That's the time you get what? Sectarianism. You get people, one sect against another sect against another sect. They say we don't want unity, we don't want one Khalifa, we want to be independent, you want to be a different country. Say, for example, Pakistan. Let's say, for example, we don't want to be under the Mughals, we don't want to be under the Khilafat. What did they do? Did they stay united, Pakistan? First thing, they divided, and then they start crushing each other. From that time until today. Do you think it's easy, what we mentioned in the khutbah, to be ruling hundreds of kingdoms, thousands of ethnic minorities? You think it's easy to rule them for hundreds of years? It takes genius, you understand? And it takes what? It takes spiritual power to be able to do that. So, and now when the Ottomans, they were able to do that, we have to know that history, then we can learn. We can say, that time they did this, so now we can find our way in this confusion. We can find our way pretty easily. But when we're taught there is no such time, or that time is all black, it's all wrong, or we're taught don't even look, that is backward kind of thinking, then we're like, you know, Frankenstein. Frankenstein, you know Frankenstein? The monster is not Frankenstein, of course. The doctor is You're a doctor, right? Don't call yourself Frankenstein, okay? He made one monster. He called it Frankenstein's monster. You just become a monster. You just become psychotic. You don't know who you are. People tell you, you're like this, okay, like that, okay, like this, okay, okay, okay. You get so confused. What do? You just crush and you destroy things. We have come to that situation now. The Ottomans not only ruled hundreds or thousands of ethnicities, they ruled them well, and they brought them to a high degree of civilization of humanity. It's very easy to take over. You think Genghis did something? What, to go around and to destroy the whole world and to say, I take over? So easy. So many have done that. Iskandar. Well, we're not talking about Iskandar from the Greek Macedonian Iskandar. We're talking about the real Zulkarnain. Is different. Zulkarnain, Oghuz, he came, then he spread the knowledge, and he built civilizations from east to west. So now the Ottomans, they ruled for hundreds of years. They ruled well. Every nationality was able to keep their honor, their pride, their language, their culture, their identity, their names, their religion, their places of worship. All these things the West considers very stupid, because in order to colonize and to rule, first thing you have to do is take away their language, bruh, they're going to say. Why are you teaching them to hold on to their language? First, take away their language. Then they cannot communicate with each other. They cannot even communicate with their fathers and their grandfathers to take the knowledge and the culture and everything that is from them that time. Then slowly introduce their own system of schools, into system of everything. Slowly they become just like you, but they can never become like you. They're second-class citizens forever. They become psychotic. East, west, Understand? The Ottomans, they had the West with them from the beginning, no? What did they do? Obama made his address, no? And he said what? These people that has been engaged in conflict for over millennia. He did so many good things, but there's a very stupid statement for him to make. Because for thousands of years, all these different groups, they have lived together in peace. And they have lived together, not in toleration, they have lived together They will work together, they eat together, they worship together, each maintaining their own separate identities, and they did not fight. All the areas that the Ottomans especially were holding on for hundreds of years, and there was not only peace, but it brings them to a certain progress, dunya and akhirat. That hold was taken away from those lands, imploding again, continuously from that time until today. They'll never find peace. Because there is a method, there is a way of doing it. There is a way. There is a way with the zahir, with the knowledge of this world, how to deal with people, and there is a spiritual way that is supporting this zahir, because this body is nothing without the spirit. This is something that the Ottomans hold on very strongly. It's not just the Shariat, it's not just the alims and the ulamas. It's not just the worldly knowledge that they had, but they were doing everything for the Prophet ﷺ. And they were giving high respect that not even the Umayyas they were giving. And we're talking about Umayyas in the generation of the Prophet they were living in, correct? Next generation, one generation removed, they were not even giving that kind of respect that the Ottomans were giving in terms of, here we're talking about spiritually. What were they giving? They were giving such high respect to the Ahlul Bayt. The Ottomans are saying, Ahlul Bayt, we give you a stipend, we give you a wage, don't have to work, sit and pray for the Ummat. So now we come to a point now. It is an Ummat. And Ummat is not just Muslims, it is unbelievers too. The Prophet ﷺ is not making a distinction. Did he say Ummati, Ummati Islam? Or did he just say Ummati? He says Ummati. And the Ottomans were taking that, and they were taking it very seriously. Moving west, bringing that lifestyle, that light of the Prophet ﷺ, that respect. So now, there is a way in dealing, yes, with the non-Muslims here in this country. First, we have to know ourselves. If we know ourselves, then we will know how to deal with people. If you don't know yourself, if you're always paranoid, if you're always, anxious, if you're always defensive, if you are always looking for other people to praise you, to validate what you are, you don't know yourself. At that time, your relations with everyone, Muslim or non-Muslim, is going to be disastrous. But if you know who you are, where you are in history, from the time of the Prophet until now, where you are in history. Because the Muslim Ummah has always been taught from the time of the Prophet, you are part of history, and history is moving to a very big thing that is going to happen, and we're all participants in that. We're not just sitting back and just taking in life and letting history to go. No, you are part of that history. If we are cut off from all of this, now we just become robots, Frankenstein monsters, going to work 9 to 5, trying to live the American dream and die. We pray, we fast, we do other things. But if we ask, what is your role now in the history of this country for the future and what is going to come? Majority, they don't believe anyway that there is history. Or some, they just revert to whatever Allah wants, everything Allah. Why are we here? Well, I don't accept that you say that we are immigrants, because you are citizens, you are part of this country. This whole country is immigrants anyway. The only people who are real Americans are the Native Americans. They are the only ones who have a right. And so we are part of this country. And we are part of the history of this country. You are bigger than yourself. Once you start thinking that you're just one individual who can do nothing, then you say you're calling yourself a Muslim. Don't you have Islam? Don't you have Allah? Don't you have the Prophet? Don't you have the awliya Allah? Don't you have the Quran Kareem? You have that. What do you mean you have nothing and you are no one? So now we come to the point, why are we in this country? Why are we in this country? Majority are going to say to seek a better life, correct? Wrong. Wrong answer. If you say we all emigrated, we all immigrants, we all emigrated, we are all made hijrah, correct? That's the meaning of emigration. Then I'm going to ask you, what is the purpose of hijrah? And we use that word specifically, hijrah, of the hijrat of the Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. What was the purpose? Did he move to Medina to have a better life? You know, better life the way that we consider. Better homes, better jobs, better that. He went to Medina. Number one, it is in order for him to move. He did not run away from Mecca to go to Medina. It was in order for him to move. If Allah did not give an order, he would have stayed in Mecca. He went there to establish Islam. He went there, alayhi salatu wasalam, to practice the faith, him and the Sahabi Kiram. The Sahabi Kiram did not move even to Medina with hope. They were tortured in Mecca. How many years? 13 years they were tortured in Mecca, but when they were leaving Mecca, they were crying, every single one of them. And when they were in Medina, they keep writing poems to remind themselves of the beauty of Mecca, because the love of the homeland is part of the faith in one meaning of it. There are many meanings to that. But they went there to practice their faith. How many even have that as number 2 or number 3 or number 4? If we say you have 10 reasons for emigrating to the West or to another country, where is that there? That you are saying that it is for the sake of Allah and His Prophet to practice your faith. No, to be sincere. Correct. Okay. Now that we know, how many are going to have enough courage, moral courage, to say astaghfirullah? Now I'm going to change my intention a little bit, although I've been here 20 years, this is for the sake of Allah. Or many are just going to be so arrogant, it's like they hear that and immediately one of the sat falls in front of their face, and they're going to deny or make excuses or be defensive. To be honest now, for you and for me. So now, if we are coming here and we change and we say we're coming here now to bring the light of the Prophet ﷺ to this part of the world. I just read a post, this person who just came into Islam, he lives somewhere in Eastern Europe, and she was so happy. She said she visited her grandmother in this woods, and she said her husband called the azan. It was so beautiful. First time, she says, maybe never azan has been called. They recite some salawats, they pray. But what is that response now? The response is, has this been on or no? Okay. The response is what? The response is passionate. There is ashq. There is passion. Understand? Now everyone is being passionate about the dunya, and the dunya is giving them stress. But if you have passion for Allah, they say it is too much. Immediately, knee-jerk reaction, you have passion, then you're going to become Taliban, Maliban, ISIS, MISIS. Like there is no middle ground anyway. We are a nation of the middle. So now there's passion there. We have that passion. It's inside of us. It has to be awakened now. Now, You have to be around those who takes that passion from the holy ones, and they are there to remind you. They're not there for their benefit. There's nothing there that they must want, nothing that is there for them. If they want anything from you, if they take any fee from you, run away from those ones. Doesn't matter if they're sheikhs, they're hojas, they're peers, run away from them. Because there's an ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Yasin, follow those who ask you no fee. And they themselves, they're in the rightly guided stations. So if they want something, big question mark there. It's not just material. Don't think it's just money. It can be other things too. So now you're coming here and you change and you say, I'm coming here, yes, to practice my faith. Because that is also one of the realities of America, that you can practice your faith. Because this country, like this or like that, the original settlers, not original, let's not say original. Some people are going to get upset with me because we have a lot of Native American friends. Every year for 7 years, we make zikr with the Native Americans in front of the White House. And we know that they are watching us too, and we are watching them also very closely. We're talking about the white people who came. What was their purpose? Did they come here to get better job, better car, better house? They know they're probably going to die on the voyage. They go to a land that they have no skills at living in that kind of circumstance, knowing that, but they came because they were fleeing the persecution that was in England at that time, telling them how to worship. And they came here to worship. Intention is right. Whatever happened a little bit after that, it doesn't matter. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the intention now. Now, if you're coming here now with the intention that you're carrying the light of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, you will run to find those ones who represent the Holy Prophet ﷺ in these days. It'll be very easy then to just take from them and how they deal with not only the Westerners, Easterners, people of the moon, aliens, whatever. You know how to deal with them. Because it is the sohbat that changes people. It is the sohbat that changed those ones who were living in the Jahiliyyah times, that were burying their children, that Hazrat Jafar al-Tayyar is saying, worshipping false idols. Not only that, not only physically they were doing wrong things, morally they were very wrong too. Oppressing the weak, doing so many things. What turned them to become second only in station to the prophets? Sohbat. So the sohbat of the Rasulullah ﷺ, they became sahabis. They became sahabis. So the sohbat is important. Where you can just take, you think, you understand, and you apply. That time you don't need to run to so many different ways. We've seen our share in how he has been dealing with. That is why I learned. What did he do? He held himself strong because he had the love, the ashq of Allah and the Prophet in his heart, and the love of his Shah. And from that love, there is no hatred. With that love, there is also intelligence. With that love, he knows how to balance things. With that love, when he deals with anything, it is for that love. It is not for the love of the dunya or others. It is not for the love of Muslims or non-Muslims. It is for the love of Allah and His Prophet ﷺ. Because he knew himself, because he is connected to his roots, then he's able to stand up strong and is able to say, I'm Muslim, I'm an Ottoman, and I'm here. And he deals with non-Muslims, and they love him and they respect him. First, you have to know who you are. And first, you have to love who you are. What do we love? If you're putting the love of your family first, it's wrong. If you're putting the love of your nationality or your ethnicity first, or your language or your culture, it is wrong. It's going to bring you to disaster later on. But if you put the love of Allah and His Prophet, the love of the awliya Allah first, and following them, then that's a time, no matter how different you are. We are like this. Others are like this most of the time. Some of the times they're not. They're working, but they're holding on strongly to our spiritual and our religious traditions. That time, we know how to deal with the non-Muslims, and the non-Muslims will respect us. Why? Because we respect Allah and His Prophet. Are we here to make everyone to love us? If you're trying to make everyone to love you, that's a very big sign, open sign, that you're a munafiq. Prophet ﷺ said, the leader, if everyone loves him, he is a munafiq. If everyone hates him, he's definitely a tyrant. But if there are more people who like him than there are people who hate him, that one is a just ruler. Follow him. That applies to everyone. So who are you trying to please? That's important. All other things are details. What do we do in their festivals? What do we do? Invite them to their house for dinner, all those are details. That if you're holding on and you know how your sheikh is dealing with them and you know how to balance things, and your main thing now, when they are coming, it is not to promote yourself, not to say, I'm American like you. Not to promote your work or your job or to network, but it is to promote Allah and His Prophet. It is to promote the awliya Allah. That time, watch. Those that are near you, they will respect you. They will be very good ones, because we don't want bad ones around us. And the bad ones, they will run away from us. Never forget, we're all going to die. And Allah will ask us. In a land of 300 million people, what did we do? What kind of light did we show to this land of 300 million? The light of the Prophet ﷺ. And I don't mean da'wah. I don't mean to go to door to knock. That is against the Islam too. Be happy with your Lord. Have some passion for your Prophet ﷺ, and live your life like that. Maintain the Shariat and hold on to the Tariqat. That time, don't worry about Ma'rifat or Hakikat. Allah will give it to you when the time is necessary. And the happiness that you will feel when you show someone what your Prophet brought, that he has never seen before, and his face lights up with the light of that Prophet, nothing can fulfill. Nothing can replace. And we would have done our job then. This is the reason that we are here. You understand? If you're trying to make your own kind of thing, then everyone is doing it. Complete disaster at that time. This is what I've talked about when I talk about the Ottomans, because they had centuries of dealings with these matters. It's not just the physical evidence and proof of how they dealt with each ethnicity or each religion in each time, but it's also an attitude, a mentality. You understand? The spirit. You don't have to go and study the Ottomans, reading up everything. You're going to get more confused, especially if you're a non-Turkish speaker. Even Turks, they're going to get confused because they have been cut off from the alphabet, the Osmanlı alphabet. So everything that is going to be translated or transliterated, it is according to whose agenda it is who translates these things. But to get the spirit now, once you get the spirit and you know and you understand, it's very easy now for you to just live your life with faith, with honor. Because the Ottomans, they've been doing that. And they were very, like I said, they were geniuses with that. Tamam. So now, people are saying, for example, because nationalism, it is opposite to what the Prophet brought. Prophet brought unity of the ummah, not nationalism, not Arabism, not Turkism, not Russianism, not Pakistanism, not Chinesism, nothing. He brought one ummah. The Arabs tried that for some dynasties. It didn't work. It didn't work. You're not supposed to. The Ottomans held it not only in these times, like thousands of years ago, no. In the time where they say in the past 2 centuries that the biggest things that has ever happened started and start churning and turning everything, they lived through that. If we don't know our history, then we don't know where we are, we don't know how to go. We're going to start making now our own path. It's going to be disastrous. They have already laid the paths there. So this is something that it is our haq, it is in our rights. You understand? Now, when you have nationalism, everything is broken apart. Ottomans did not bring nationalism. If they did, from Eastern Europe to Western China, from Southern Russia, North Africa, to the Far East Asia, everyone would speak Turkish. That's the first thing that you do if you're a colonial master. You take away your subject races, their ability to communicate with each other. But it didn't. In fact, one of the things that make the young Turks so upset with the Ottomans, they say because the Ottomans, they are pushing non-Turkish people more. They're giving them more chances. They're giving them more opportunities. They're giving them more liberties and freedoms than the own Turkish people. But the Ottomans were looking at meritocracy. Meritocracy is common sense. It's whoever fits to that job who can do it well, regardless of race or religion. Pick him. Of course, it has to be balanced. Certain things, there's always Sharia that is underlying that. But they pick that, not according to race, not according even to religion. So now with spirituality, it has to be the same. With religion, it has to be the same. It cannot be now a religion that is only, for example, Islam that is only for Pakistanis, or Islam that is only for the Chinese, Islam only for the Malaysians. There has to be an Islam that is for everyone. A system of Islam that is for everyone. The Ottomans had that too. System of spirituality that is for everyone. Now people are looking. If you have tariqats, if you have sheikhs, if you have jamaat, it's just very small. What do I mean small? You can have millions, but it's still very small. Why is that? Because you're still busy just with your own people. You can have millions. It's an Indian movement, Pakistani movement. Then it's not universal. It's not universal. You cannot now pull people from east and west, north and south. You cannot come down to their level to speak. You cannot speak at every level. You cannot pull them all to sit together like the Ottomans did and to worship. Then you don't have the secret. That is a prophetic secret because the Prophet ﷺ had that. He pulled everyone. Some, they sit and they say, why we have to listen to this one? He's not black. Some they say, why we have to listen to this one? He's not white. Some they say, why we have to listen to this one? He's not Turkish. Some is why we have to listen. So everyone is now in their idea of spirituality and Islam is just very small, very divided. You have not understood that now. The universal characteristic of Islam. That's exactly what those who hate Islam want to do. Never to think that we are one unit, having unity. So, whatever is happening in this world, we are not running around to change anything. We are running around only to change ourselves. Even if you run around and you have all the resources to change the situation in this world, it is not given to them. You cannot. Not even the awliya Allah. They are doing that. They are pulling themselves back because that is the divine order. You give the last calls now, and you wait for that one who is going to come to fix. Just as, don't say how. Yeah, Muslims, you say how? What do you mean? Mahdi alayhi salam is going to come? How is going to come? How is going to get money? How is going to get people to support him? How? I say, really? You're becoming like a dog? You lost your intelligence? How? You're saying? Then you forgot about your Prophet. Alayhi salatu wasalam. One man he came. So, we are weak creatures. We're trying to understand ourselves, trying to understand our Lord, and trying to worship Him. With that, inshallah Rahman, may it be easy for everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Al-Fatiha. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Those who have to go, you can go. Yeah.
Today I have an appointment.
Hi. Welcome. Everyone is always coming. Alhamdulillah. Alaykum salam. Yeah, sending my salams, inshallah. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Okay, come on. You have a question? Ask. Let's see if we can move inside here a little bit. Osman, you stay there. Others, come inside here. Come inside here. Don't stay there.